Today I'm going to be talking about resources that Peter and I use when planning our journeys on Narrowboat Bandonian, and the resources that I use for planning my journey to meet up with Peter on the boat. My name is Marianne and I am a part-time boater. The first thing that we do when we want to plan our journey is to look at the large map that is on the boat of the British waterways. This gives us a large overview of the British Isles. We can plan long journeys or short journeys using this to give us a general view of where we're going. The next thing that Peter would do is to go into Canal Plan AC and plan his more detailed day-to-day journey to find out where he will be each day, where his overnight stops will be, and that sort of thing. He can put in preferences such as travelling 5 hours a day, 4 hours a day, or how many locks he wants to achieve. Various bits of information like that can all be programmed in, and then whenever he goes back into Canal Plan AC, those preferences are saved and his future journeys can also be planned in that way, or he can change it if he wants to travel more or less each day. He can also determine how long it would take to be a solo-handed cruiser at the locks, and that also is good information to put in because it gives him a better overview, a better feel for how long his journey is going to be. It puts in where his overnight stops are likely to be and gives him information about the moorings and that sort of thing.
So the first step is to plan the route, and to do that I always use a very useful program available online called Canal Plan, and that's what I'm going to do now. That gives me all the information I need so we know roughly how long it's going to take to get there, how much effort it's going to be, and where we'll pass through on the way. This is the home page of Canal Plan AC. Down the left hand side here we've got Plan a Journey. There's a gazetteer which allows you to look up places, get information about places on the network. A boat listing, but we're going to plan a journey, so we click on that and it's giving me, it's got an audience now, 3 options here. Select the place by name, select by waterway, or the nearest place to where you are. So this is the first step in planning a journey, so select where we're starting from by name. Now we've got options. You can plan out and back trip, a one-way trip, which is what we're going to do, and if you're on holidays you can plan a cruising ring trip using a lot of well-known rings that you can do on the canal network. Or if you're taking a boat for a week, you can decide how far you can go and get back again by the end of the week. That's what we did when we went on our holiday back in 2017. But we're going to plan a one-way trip, and I've set my own defaults. So I've extended the amount of time we calculate to go through a lock from 15 minutes to 20 minutes. And I've also set 5 hours a day, so I'm going to say use these defaults, which are mine.
When I'm travelling up to the boat and about to embark on a journey with Peter, I also use maps, but this time Google Maps. If I want to go by train or by car, I put in my destination, and obviously it tells me the best route to get there. If I find myself wanting to park my car, Google Maps is excellent for that, because I can then go into Street View in the location that I'm headed for, and I can see what the parking situation is like, see whether there's any limitations to parking, yellow lines, that sort of thing. If I'm going via train, it gives me my train times, my stops, my changes of station or platforms. It also tells me the distance between the station and where the boat happens to be. How far is it to walk or to cycle? So that is my method for finding where Peter's going to be and how I'm going to get to him. The third resource that we use are the Nicholson Guides. Now Peter has these on the back of the boat with him once he starts cruising, and he can refer to it to find out which direction the next bend is going in, what are the mooring situations like ahead if we want to stop for lunch or anything like that. So it's a pretty good resource for that. It gives a lot of other information such as pubs, places of interest. It could be that when you look in the Nicholson's Guide there's a place that you might want to stop and admire the scenery or go to an event, and that's what Nicholson's is good for. Apart from telling you where to go, of course, because it's a map. Open Canal Maps is an app that we have on our phones. And when Peter is cruising and I'm at home and I want to know exactly where he is, we both use Open Canal Maps and it pinpoints his location down to the nearest bridge or winding hole or local pub, and then I can go onto my maps on my phone and find out exactly where he is, and it helps me to visualize his location, and then I can see what there is around. And quite often if he is moored up somewhere like that, chances are I'm going to be heading to him at that location. So again, I look at Google Maps and that's where I end up. That's where I head for. There is one more resource that we use, and that is the Canal and River Trust. Peter has signed up to their emails, so he gets notifications of closures, of canal works, of anything that is going to be relevant to him when he is planning a journey. And that has actually become really crucial at this particular moment in time. Peter is currently in Huddersfield, and I will be travelling up to him shortly to help him move the boat. But we have been going one way, then we were going another way. We were going to be cruising this week. We booked passage through the Stanage Tunnel for next week. We have been toing and froing in our planning for the best part of 2 to 3 weeks. It reaches a point sometimes where all the planning is done and dusted, and just to make sure everything is going to be plain cruising, he logs into the Canal and River Trust website to check for closures, only to find that changes have to be made. And that's what's happened this time around. I hope you found this video useful. Tune in next week to find out what we found out from the Canal and River Trust that has affected our journey so much, and I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you to my subscribers. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. But until next week and next week's video, bye.